Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary and it is time for another installment of So You Want to Summer Tub. Now, I told you guys in yesterday's video sort of a little bit more about what summer tubbing is, but I thought today we'd go over some of the frequently asked questions I get about summer tubbing. Starting with, what do you need? You need a location, so that means a spot on your deck, a spot in your yard, a spot on your fire escape, or a front stoop, or like me, we built into our yard a spot where I could place my tubs. Ideally, that spot would get at least 4 to 6 hours of sun, which would be considered basically full sun, and a power supply. Now, the power supply is for one of the materials you need. I prefer to use a pump in my bins. Simply because this will help with a lot of the pests I don't want in my tubs, things like mosquitoes. Most of the fish that I raise, or invertebrates like shrimp for instance, won't predate on the mosquito larvae efficiently. Let's say they'll make a dent, but they can't keep up, so I prefer to not have mosquitoes in my tubs. And the easiest way to do this is to provide some surface agitation so that they simply can't grow there. It also helps circulate the water and keeps temperatures more consistent. Now, there is something to be said for having layers of temperature in the tubs, but in my experience, I get better breeding, higher yield, and better growth with a bin that is circulated. I have done both. In fact, last year I did both. You need a container. So first you need to figure out your location so you can evaluate what kind of container you need. We'll go into more details of all these things in the upcoming weeks as I get started here with my summer tubbing. And then you need plants, and plants is what we're going to talk about today, simply because I have a greenhouse, so I can get them early, get them potted, and get them started. I would recommend, if you're interested in summer tubbing, one of the biggest questions I get asked is, can I? When can I? How long can I? And I can't answer that question for you. You have to do some work on your own, as far as going to Google, looking at your extended forecast, and maybe if you're afraid it's going to be too hot or too cold for fish, just start with plants the first year and keep a journal and measure the temperatures that your water with particular volume in the container you choose. Keep an eye on it, see what it does, and go from there. I mean, this is a marathon, not a sprint. If this is something you're interested in, I can assure you that even just keeping plants with a little bubbler is exceptionally beautiful, sounds amazing, and adds a lot of interest to your space, and it's super fun. So I'll show you my forecast. As we look at it, it's getting more and more mild. I move plants out once it's definitely and definitively well over freezing. If you move out some plants into water that's too cold after they've already started to grow, so for instance, I ordered my plants from Texas. It's a warmer climate. They're already growing at this time of year. If I get them and put them into water that is too cold, it'll send them back into a dormancy and they'll have a difficult time growing that season. They'll get shocked and some may even die. So I usually look for daytimes in the high 60s and overnights over 40 consistently. And you can look up your own weather, pick out extended forecast, and see how it's going. Now, as far as where I get my plants and how I choose my plants, I will show you exactly where I buy them. I ask permission of the wonderful place that I use. It's called Texas Water Lilies, and it's in Texas. And I generally deal with a person named Dusty, and they have tons and tons and tons of marginals. And what I like best about this particular website, I'm sure there's places that are cheaper. I've never gotten a dead plant. I've never gotten a bad plant. The customer service has been excellent. You just email the order. But more importantly, what I think is really amazing is that every single plant, for the most part, has the hardiness zone, so what zones it can survive in all year, how big it gets, how much space it needs, and how deep it can go in our tubs. And this is really important because if you want underwater plants, or you want just plants that can go into the top foot, or if you just want surface plants, or if you want floaters, this website in particular gives you all that information. So I find it really awesome. I think their prices are really good. The shipping's really reasonable. And again, the quality each year has been absolutely amazing. So I encourage you guys, if you're interested in getting plants and you're in the United States, to give this website, give it a look over and see. They also have hardy water lilies, as well as tropical water lilies and lotuses, and just some really great information on the website. So I think it's a great website, and again, I've had nothing but success. I think I've been using them, I forget for how many years. I've used various places over the years, but I always come back to Texas Water Lilies simply because the customer service is so good and the quality of the plants is good. Now your plants will come to you bare root, and when I get my plants in, I placed my order today, I will show you how they come and how to pot them. I've done this in previous years, so if you're feeling eager or you want to get started right now, check out some of my other summer tubbing playlists. I did create a grouping of them on my homepage for you guys to find them easier, as well as a terrestrial plant playlist, so that if you guys are interested in how I built the bog garden or what's going on with my carnivorous plants, you can have an easier time finding those. So I hope that answers a few of your questions that I get asked repeatedly, at least at this point of the season. I hope that you're subscribed and you have that notification bell on, because things are going to start moving fast out in the greenhouse, around my yard, and in the fish room as we select species to move out, get the bins all planted and prepped, and eventually move fish out. As always, thank you guys for your continued support.